podcast. I am your host, Big Al. With me, as always, is our lovely technical producer, Sensational Sosie, and that big piece of crap known as Nick the Shockmaster McGee.
Pronounce it Nick the Shockmaster McGee.
Whatever. Today we also have two very special guests. Sosie and I's friends from Indiana, who are also huge wrestling marks, Margie and William Crane. Marjorie, I'm sorry.
Just call her Marge Bajan if you want to really go there.
It's better than margarine.
I've called her that one before too.
I'm
Okay,
sure she
moving
hit
on
you.
to wrestling news.
And we're not reimbursing you for gas mileage either.
No per diem.
Just to make it clear.
Yeah. And if you want to spend the night, you have to spend the night at his house.
With all the kids.
Well, all the kids too. We got air mattresses.
We'll get a hotel.
Oh, good lord.
Moving on.
Moving right along.
Okay, what I would like to do today is let's cover our bases with the Attitude Era versus the PG Era and how they are blending a little bit now, as well as our 3 Stages of Hell match. The Wyatt Family vignette, which creeped me out beyond belief.
I peed on myself.
I believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's peeing now. And, of course, we have to mention, I'm sorry for all of you out there who are listening, we have to mention TNA's Slammiversary.
Woo, yeah.
We also have a couple of segments coming up that I think you guys will like, as well as Big Nick's Book It and Sosie's Fanfic Fails for this week. Let's take things away with the 3 Stages of Hell match. Nick, what are your thoughts on this coming up match?
Well, they need to rebrand it to the 3 Stages of Lane match. I mean, come on. The first stage, the lumberjack match, really, where you have 20 guys outside the ring, what's brutal about a lumberjack match? Really, what is hell about a lumberjack match? Basically nothing. Then stage 2 is the tables match, which obviously, I might as well go ahead and spoil it for the internet wrestling community, that Cena's going to lose stage 2. Then obviously we're going to go into stage 3, where you got the ambulance match, which is one of the worst gimmick matches in WWE. Everybody remembers the previous ambulance matches held by previous superstars that participate in it. This is going to be a lamed up match. They panic. They know having Cena versus Ryback was a bad idea to jump, and they're trying to get the numbers to buy up for the next pay-per-view. And this is just a terrible idea. Just a terrible idea overall. I just hope and pray to God this feud ends at freaking WWE Payback, which is from Chicago, by the way.
Okay, William, Marjorie, what do you guys think?
I don't disagree with the 3 Stages of Lame. I mean, seriously, lumberjack, tables, I mean, are you serious? Seriously, WWE, this is what I have to say to you. If you're going to do a 3 Stages of Hell match, I don't care if it's The Undertaker, John Cena, Kane, Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, who's now working for Dana White over at the UFC. I don't care who it is. I just got to be brutally honest. If you're going to do a 3 Stages of Hell match, it needs to have a casket match or a buried alive ending.
Thank
for
you.
Stage 3.
Thank you.
You also need to have a cage match.
Yes.
And my first one, I have to say, in the very first stage, if both wrestlers aren't bleeding, it's not a 3 Stages of Hell match. It is a 3 Stages of my 8th grade child is watching this telecast, so we can't have blood.
Wow.
You know what? Agree with me. Could the first stage been like a no disqualification match, or maybe a no holds barred match, something like that? Why has to be a lumberjack?
Why not just a street fight?
Yeah, why not the first stage be a street fight? You're in Chicago. Why not have a Chicago street fight?
Yes.
Yes.
Why not?
That would be a good start to.
I mean,
Or
just last year at Extreme Rules, Punk and Jericho had a classic Chicago street fight where there was no blood involved, but man, they left it out there in the freaking ring.
But the match that did steal the night, and thank you, Brock Lesnar, for actually doing this. Thank you, John Cena, for actually doing this. And that is Cena. We all know that elbow to the head really hurt. Thank you for bleeding and making it halfway realistic. And I say halfway because we know you didn't blade in that match. That elbow was legitimate. And the fact that Brock Lesnar still had to use a blade after he got hit in the head with John Cena's chain. John, good hit, by the way, because I think Brock Lesnar needs to go back to the UFC where he belongs. with all
Oh,
the caged
come on.
animals.
Oh, stop yourself. Stop yourself.
Oh, come
Wow.
on.
Now, I think that the first match could still be a lumberjack match, but you add something to it. Like
Oh my god.
you give the guys like
Don't say
axe
belts.
handles. Give the guys axe handles to where they don't want to go
What is
outside.
this, CZW or something like that? I mean, come on.
Well, we all know why.
Okay.
It's a lumberjack match.
Okay,
so why?
Extreme Rules lumberjack match. The lumberjacks have weapons that they're holding, and they can use them on the wrestlers as they go outside the ring. Each one holds a different weapon, and yes, the kitchen sink can be used.
But would it take the attention away from the stars, though?
Yeah, and what if one wrestler is being tortured more than another? Is it really fair for both wrestlers that are competing in the match?
Who
No.
cares?
But I care because here's
Yeah.
the thing. You've seen lumberjack matches where one wrestler gets thrown out and they all start beating the hell out of him, and the other one, they're just like, okay, well, we're just going to throw you back in the ring. That's pointless.
Here's the insane thing. We're trying to fix the lumberjack match. I just want to get rid of the lumberjack
Well,
match.
But you
I
have
agree
to
with
keep
you.
it. You have to keep it so those guys can get paydays. The Puerto Ricans, the
Who
other
cares?
Puerto Ricans, the black guy that has no partner now.
We
Like
were
all
talking
those guys gotta
Which
get
black
paid.
guy that doesn't have a partner?
JTG or the other,
Who?
whichever one's left.
He should've got rid of
Exactly.
who?
I only know him as Crime Time.
Yeah.
Yo, it's Crime Time.
Hey,
Yeah, all
Mr.
those
White
dudes.
Man, you cannot say that. All right, Mr. White Man?
Hey, come
Oh.
on.
No, sir.
Come on.
Hey,
Black
hey.
Republicans,
We will.
Come on now.
Oh,
Hey. We only approve white on black crime here.
okay,
Oh.
fair.
That's cool.
Yeah, all those guys
Alan?
gotta get paid.
You're
What?
setting me up to say something on the air that I'm not going to say.
Gosh.
Fair enough. We won't put you in a crippler crossface and make you say it, or whatever Cena does now.
Whatever.
You
he
mean
does.
the fart lock?
Yeah, I was going to call it that. I mean, STFU. John, speaking of this, please, if you're actually listening to me out here, as a fan of yours, go back to calling it the STFU, because we all know what STFU means. Even 8-year-olds know what STFU means. Shut the
Yeah.
front door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And plus, John, you do the move inappropriately too. It seems like you're taking a fart, or it seems like you're taking a dump on the toilet every time you put the move on.
I still say that Benoit did it the best.
Who? Whoa!
Did we really
Whoa.
mention him on the air?
Who's
Jesus,
that?
we got to edit that out.
Yeah, we do gotta edit Benoit's name out.
Jesus.
No, I refuse because I was a huge Benoit mark.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
Who?
All right, fine. Chris Benoit.
What?
What?
You must mean Sparky Plug, Bob Holly. You must mean Duke the Dumpster Josie.
Who?
Yeah. You must mean Louis.
No.
You must mean Louis Spicoli.
Oh,
Adam Bob?
come on. Time out here about Louis Spicoli. Time out here. Louis actually knew what the hell he was doing in the ring.
He was a good wrestler.
Yes,
He really was a
legitimately,
good wrestler.
mat wrestling, Louis Spicoli, if I were, we're going to go into a top 10 list a little bit later. If we were to go into a top 10 list of actual mat wrestlers, Louis Spicoli would be in my top 10.
Oh yes, of course.
Most definitely.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's something that, we need to maybe discuss at a later date is top 10 actual legitimate wrestlers of all time. Because
Well, I already know.
Louis in my top 10. He actually knew what he was doing.
I know who's number one on my list, and it's yes.
He's actually in my top 3. He is actually in my top 3.
And the other guy is true. It's darn true.
He's actually my number 1, and then there's one between them, and he's
Mhm.
modern, and I think we
Yeah.
both know who I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Love you, Phil. I hope he's listening to that. Yes, I just
hope-
mentioned you, punk.
Yes, you can roll over from Sleeping with Lita right now.
Oh!
You can roll
Hey.
over.
No, seriously, in all seriousness, I have a question for you, punk. Punk, how many guys and girls has Lita been with?
What does she
Probably
taste
half
like?
the number of what he's been with.
And Punk, you're more welcome to go on Facebook.com/The Heel Turn Podcast to respond to that question.
And you
Or
can
comment on this video at the Heel Turn Podcast channel on YouTube.
Or he can go right on my Facebook, WD Crane on Facebook, and yes, You can comment to me, Punk. I really don't care. I still like you. And yes, I wear your gear all the time. And yes, I'm looking for my ice cream bars as well.
And yes, I still love wrestling, by the way.
I want them to bring back Ecto Cooler, but you know,
I want
that's
them. I
here,
want
and
them.
here nor there.
You know what?
I think we're getting off topic.
Alan, I'm done peeing.
Finally?
Yeah,
Wow.
hell of a lot.
Moving on.
Yes. Moving on, let us talk more. Okay, we talked about what the first stage should be. Let's move on to the second stage.
Well, you gotta keep tables matching because that's the only way Cena will lose.
But I think you should do something different. Like, make
Cole
it
Handler's glove match?
no, more like maybe a TLC match between the two.
Yeah, what are they going to try to grab? I mean, their jock straps?
Well, you could put the belt up there, but once you grab the belt, you might as well just walk
No,
out
no,
of the
no,
building.
no.
You might as well do a CM Punk and 8-6 yourself out of the arena.
Okay, thank you. Well, then the third stage could be falls can't count anywhere.
Well, that could be interesting. Where's the final fall going to happen? In Punk's backyard?
Yeah, why
Oh,
not?
that'd be awesome.
Hey, you could do it at Wrigley Field up in Chicago.
Ooh.
Right there on Addison.
Nope.
It could be
Right in the middle of
Right in the middle of downtown, right at the Hard
Yes.
Rock Cafe.
Heck
Yes.
yeah.
Right at the Hard
Well,
Rock
you could
Cafe.
do it from ESPN 1000 Studios.
or do it on top of the Sears Tower.
What?
Yeah, I don't think they call it a Sears Tower anymore to get
Yeah.
it.
It doesn't matter what they call it.
I think it's like the John Hancock or something like
No,
that.
the Hancock's a separate building.
Oh.
We were actually going to go up there ourselves, weren't we?
Get a handy on the Hancock.
So can we throw Ryback off the building though? Can that be the final?
Goldberg.
You know what? I don't even want to hear that name anymore because I personally don't know what Bill Goldberg wants in order to get back into wrestling.
I honestly,
I really don't know what he wants.
Ryback, he doesn't smell Goldberg to me. He's
No, they
more
booked
like
him wrong. They
he's
booked him
more
wrong.
like Batista than he is Goldberg because he whines like Batista and he works like Batista.
Terrible.
Exactly.
But Batista honestly started from the bottom and worked his way up. This man was known as Deacon Batista when he first debuted.
I
with
remember.
the Reverend Devon gimmick, how he walked around with
Testify.
when he walked around with the chain and the offering
Oh, God,
box.
don't remind me.
He was hitting up fans and basically bullying them to put money in the offering box.
I'd
Which
say
was
they were
classic.
plants.
He was a classic churchgoer.
I know. I loved him.
Let's move on to the third stage then.
you
Buried alive or casket match.
can't do Buried Alive unless it involves the Undertaker or Kane.
Or an Inferno match.
No, you can't do that either. That has
But it
Kane
has
written
to
on
it has to be something where it's a
Here,
where the ending has to be a bang in a 3 stages of hell. You
why
just
not
can't-
Hell in a Cell?
I was thinking that too.
Hell in a Cell, cage match, something along those lines. Hell in a Cell, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely
Cell.
Hell in a Cell would be a good choice.
But when you look at the WWE's history, you could put 2 guys in Hell in a Cell. It does not end.
That's true.
It does not end.
It's kind of like the old days of WCW when they'd have War Games matches. It wouldn't end the feud between the 2 feuding teams.
Exactly. They keep going for like maybe
No.
3 or 4 pay-per-views.
Are
Yeah.
we going to use a regular referee or should we use a guest referee?
No guest referee. This match is already gimmick enough. No
Yeah.
guest referee.
Why not?
Oh,
I
right.
mean, this is TNA like booking. You use a guest referee.
Yeah, you can smell TNA on that breath.
No, I probably might. Pee.
Oh,
It was just an idea.
If you're gonna go about the guest referee routine, the guest referee has to be
Snake Roberts.
no.
You know what? He's looking great these days. Just
Is he
good.
finally off cocaine?
Oh yeah.
Thanks to
Oh,
DDP
yeah.
Yoga, he's looking great. So is Scott.
Really?
Yeah,
So is
Scott
Scott
Hall.
Hall, yeah.
Scott Hall's the
Really,
most
Scott
lucid
Hall.
he's been.
Scott Hall looks. The last time I saw him on ESPN 60, he
Yes,
looked like
I saw
a
that
train
too.
wreck.
Yeah,
He looked like a train wreck. I
Well,
was wondering when he's
the
gonna.
guy could barely pick up a steel chair.
Yeah.
Well, these days you should really check back into him. But I'm not going. The goal at the Heel Turn podcast for us, or at least in my opinion, is to not steal from other podcasts. So we're just going to move on from there when it comes to DDP Yoga for now. Okay, back to the third stage.
Eric's peeing on me.
Man, this could be a pissy podcast.
I know.
Just get your sham wow and wipe it up.
Wow. But the third stage, I agree. It should be either Hell in a Cell or a cage match. What else can we come up with?
You know what?
Oh, let me pull out this one. This is an old WCW gimmick match. The Stairway to Hell. where you have the ladder match. You get to the top, you grab either a ball wire or maybe a baseball bat with a ball wire wrapped around it, or maybe a steel chair with ball wire wrapped around it. You can use it on your opponent. The only way you win is by pinfall or submission. No, Stairway to Hell match.
You said that was ECW?
Yeah, that was an ECW.
Yeah, that was a
match.
Paul Heyman creation.
Yeah, why not?
I remember that match.
Yeah, I love
not,
that match.
Not bad. If they're going to do a 3 Stages of Hell, why don't they just do a Stairway to Hell match?
Yeah,
To kind of mix it in with the
Right.
3 stages.
exactly.
It's
Why
got
not?
3 stages. Just has to be extreme.
Green.
It has to be to the extreme to the max, where obviously the storyline ends with one of the guys leaving the arena on a stretcher, bloodied up, just absolutely a wreck,
Exactly.
and oh my God, we're not going to hear from this guy for
At least 2 months.
yeah, exactly,
In WWE's world, 2 months.
exactly, definitely agree.
What do you think on this, Marjorie?
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the WWE needs to create something different, something new, something fresh. They keep reverting back to old things, and it's not catching anymore. Everybody's expecting the same ending all the time. I don't know.
And the executive producer shakes her head going, I don't know. But yeah, I just know it's lame that needs to be fixed. And with their revolving door of writers, I don't see it
And
being fixed.
superstars. I mean, really, is there been any good new talent coming in other than the John Cena? And I know everybody criticizes John Cena, but who else other than The Rock and Stone Cold in the recent, last 20 years has really made an impact?
Well, you still got the Randy Ortons out there. You got
Yeah,
the
but
Sheamus.
they
You got the
downgraded him.
Well, Randy Orton downgraded himself.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't
He
disagree with
downgraded
that, but
himself.
here's the thing: he's still been downgraded. There's no real
Because
actual
they don't
great
trust
view-
him like they do John.
Well, I understand that because of his
And
drug
Punk's
use.
burnt out. That's why he's on freaking vacation. The guy's
Right.
burnt out.
Well, yeah, because look what the hell he had to do. He had to pick up the slack for everybody else.
But that's what he wanted, though. That's what the guy wanted,
That's not
and he got it.
necessarily what he wanted.
No, that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be the man. He wanted to get the ball. He wanted to run with it. Okay, we'll let you run with it. He ran with it for over 400 days. God bless him, because it was the best title reign I personally have witnessed as a fan in a very long time.
I just think
The last time I went to a title reign that long was through Cena's, I believe, first or second title reign. And dear God, I wanted to kill myself. And because Cena beat everybody, including freaking Shawn Michaels. I was at that WrestleMania, and I almost killed myself because I can't believe he beat Shawn.
And it's one of the first title reigns in recent memory, at least, in which the guy holding the belt made a heel turn while holding it.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was actually one of the
Thank you.
that was one of the nice things about it, is that they threw us all for a loop, that Punk was going to be a face through this entire title reign, and they were kind of teasing the idea, and then hit us with the heel turn while he's holding the belt. Absolutely, that was one of the
Really?
WWE. Thank you for doing something halfway smart for once.
Yes.
Okay.
And Punk was a beautiful WWE
they need a fresh
championship reign as a heel too. When you stuck with Paul Heyman to be his mouthpiece, and really he didn't need Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman was that extra ingredient, just layering on a nice piece of cake.
Okay, the 3 stages covered. Let us talk about the Attitude Era versus the PG Era and how they are getting blended every now and then. And Marjorie, I believe you mentioned this, and I want to hear your opinions on it.
Well, okay, I'm just gonna start it out. Just the basic things that I'm seeing. They're bringing back blood. Okay, briefly. They used to before they would bring in the medics to make sure they were covered up before they continued the match. Now they're allowing the blood to come back, like in the Cena match. When Cena came out with the whole Brock Lesnar thing on Monday Night Raw, I believe, where they called each other out or whatever, and he went up and slapped him, and then Cena started bleeding from the mouth. They didn't stop that. They didn't stop any of that. I wish they would come back. I mean, they're allowing the swearing now again on mic. They're not bleeping stuff out. And that's great, wonderful, and fine. And I know that they're trying to cater to both adults and kids, but they've been catering to kids for a very, very long time. And I think the reason for that is the WWE, Vince, his wife was running for an elected office, okay? So they were trying to clean it up so that way it would make a better, opportunity for her to get elected in, but she ended up not getting elected in. So what was the point of doing that? How many fans did they lose over that? now that they're coming back to it, you know, I think it's still too mild. I mean, yeah, you don't want kids hurting themselves. A lot of kids have hurt themselves from doing wrestling moves and
Myself included.
right, mimicking things that they shouldn't be doing. But I mean, let's face it. When I watched wrestling as a kid, I watched it when there was the blood and the swearing and the things like that, and I didn't turn out to be all fucked up and crazy. I mean, yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but there needs to be those limits on it too, and I think they need to be kind of at a later time of night where kids aren't on watching it. And they do have for children on Saturday morning, I think, their version for kids to watch, and that's what they should promote more, and then allow the adults to watch what they want to watch and make it more interesting and more dramatic, personally.
But you know what? That's the majority of these fans. You want to get those young fans, because then they will get older and there will be a new crop of fans. I don't have a problem with the PG stuff. I really don't. Never have. I was a fan before the Attitude Era. This is what kills me about the Attitude Era fans. They're like, they almost pretend like there was no wrestling before the Attitude Era.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
there was. There was the cartoon era where you saw Bash and Booger, Atom Bomb, and Waylon Mercy.
It
Anybody
goes with
remember
the
that?
audience. They grab it when they're kids, and then
Exactly.
as they
Wrestling
grow up,
always been like that. Maybe except for the 80s and 70s, of course, where it was a little bit different. But
I don't know.
I just feel like, you know, when Stone Cold was on, he didn't give two flying fucks what anybody thought
Right.
about it. He'd sit there and he'd say, "Oh hell yeah," and you can go fuck yourself, and he'd take beer and smash together and throw it in the crowd and do whatever.
But you have to admit, when they went PG, it brought more sponsors. It brought them more attention. They weren't too afraid about it. You got more investors coming in. You have to look at that aspect
money.
too. And when you look at TNA's model, we say, well, we will go away from the kids stuff. We will cater to more young adults and older adults. What good has that done for the company in the last 10 or 11 years?
Well, they've gotten a lot better in the last couple of years
I would
than
say
they
no, like,
had.
well, they gotten a little bit better. I'll give you that because they actually remember they had something called the Excavator
And
to make them
not
better.
just that, but you know, their knockouts, which are the equivalent of the divas in WWE, they're much more well respected than the women in the WWE.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
I do.
No, they're not. They may get more in-ring wrestling time, but they're not as heavily respected as the divas in
A
the
lot
The
of people
divas
still
are
use
sex,
them.
Divas are sex objects. That's all
So
they are.
what they're doing in TNA?
it's called TNA.
Yeah, they're white. And I call TNA the white trash version of the WWE. Honestly,
I think where Marjorie's going with this is athletic-wise, the talent in TNA in the
Oh, yeah.
knockouts
Oh,
division
Oh yeah.
is
yeah.
100%
Oh,
better
yeah.
than the
It's
divas
not,
in the
it's not
WWE.
treated as
yeah.
a bathroom
Yeah.
match. The bathroom match is Hogan or some other old guy fighting another old guy. That's your bathroom match in TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
but I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, with the divas and like when they got rid of Beth Phoenix. Okay, yeah, she got
She
injured.
left.
She left on her own.
Yeah, they didn't get rid of her. She
Right,
left.
she left on her own.
Whatever the case is, she's gone. She was
She
probably
left. She left. Take care of Edge.
Yeah.
whatever. The point
Adam.
being is the fact that she was a good wrestler. She was a physical wrestler, and they always
Great talent. Yeah.
yeah, and they always made fun of her for being manly, but really she's like what they were in TNA, where they were physical. She was physical, you know. And I wish more of the divas were actually talented. Like I see Michelle McCool, you know, who's obviously married to the Undertaker. Everybody knows.
Well, Michelle
that.
McCool was a good wrestler. She
She
started
was-
out trashy, just like Trish Stratus, who's currently in the Hall of Fame. Couldn't even pull on a headlock to save her life.
Well, yeah,
Here's
but
the difference, though, between those girls and the girls they got now. Those girls grew up loving wrestling.
right, and they
That's true.
wrestle.
They wrestle. They put in the work to learn because they love it.
And now
That's
we
true.
get a bunch
It
of.
wasn't a stepping stone to do whatever else, like Kelly Kelly.
No offense, but now the girls that got in there now, you burn them and they're gonna melt on stage. I mean, it's not. I mean, I understand. Yeah, they got the boob jobs and everything in TNA, so you could say the same thing. But they can wrestle. I mean, that's what I want to watch when I watch TV, not just the drama.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't care that they're pretty and the guys hoot and holler and they're shaking their ass and you can see their titties flying out of their shirts.
I hate to say this, and please forgive me on this, but sex sells in wrestling.
Well, sex sells everywhere in business. Let's not just say
Right.
just in wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, basic business.
And here, let me mention this. Gail Kim went from being a relative unknown diva to being the top female wrestler of last year when she went to TNA.
Sure.
Now, this her first run or second run?
This is her second run in TNA.
This is her second run in TNA.
Yeah.
She became a household name in TNA during her first run.
But
She put that knockout division on the map. Her and Awesome Khan. They put it on the map. The only reason Gail left TNA because TNA refused to give her due when her contract came out. She won more money and they told her no, and they dissed her.
If you're going to mention Gale and Awesome Kong in that category, putting the knockout division on the map, you have to add Taylor Wilde.
Okay, yes,
to that
you're
list.
right. I completely forgot about that.
Because, I mean, she really...
Even though to me she was the most boring knockout of them all, to me personally.
She didn't have mic skills. She didn't have mic skills. She had in-ring ability.
Yeah, she was a great
And
athlete.
that's another thing is the mic skills, okay? For the women, the divas on WWE, what kind of mic skills do they have? I mean, at least...
They're catty.
Well,
It's
not
just catty.
There's
It's a catty attitude. There's
They don't really let them talk
I mean,
much.
you know, when Maurice was there, and I didn't like her,
I
okay?
love Maurice.
But okay.
You would.
Okay, yeah, she was pretty.
The
she was
WWE.
she was everything that
But she was a
sexuality
terrible wrestler.
wanted.
She was terrible.
I don't know necessarily she was a terrible wrestler,
She
but
was.
for the heel part of her, she played it absolutely perfect.
Let me put it like this: she would be a great manager, a great ballet.
Yeah.
I would not have put her in the ring. I would not have given her
If
the
she
women's
had been given
championship.
more
She would be a
talent,
great ballet.
And she really was a good ballet with, what was it, Ted DiBiase?
Yeah.
You mean Ted Diabetes?
yeah, but
Ted Diabetes?
yeah, but I mean seriously, if they had given her more skills in the
And
ring,
that's a guy who.
Yeah.
but
was
her
good.
diva,
Yeah,
the diva,
he was.
the diva heel turn for her, perfect. She was always a heel, always.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Maurice.
Okay.
Always a perfect heel for all the divas. You've seen divas turn heel back and forth, but she was perfect.
And I really thought they were onto something good when I saw Kelly leaving and Eve leaving and the Bellas leaving. And I thought, okay, we're gonna be.
The Bellas need to stay away.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, the fella twins, I could do without
I mean,
them.
they're sitting there shaking their ass and looking at me unsexual. Fuck that. I mean,
You know what? But at least,
horrible.
but the Bellas could go in the ring. They can.
You know what?
But
they
they're
can go
They're
to
good
a
at
point.
tricks. That's all they're good at. And I'm talking not just the tricks they do in the ring either. Ask John Cena.
Oh!
And don't forget Daniel Bryan too.
Didn't say I didn't have both of them at once. I'm just saying.
John Cena, we apologize out there if you're hearing this.
I hope
and my
he
wife,
wrapped his shit up.
yeah,
God.
but I do agree with my wife. Yeah, you need to wrap that up if you're having sex with any of the Bella twins.
John
I
Cena still
believe
kayfabes
he
that,
wraps
though.
his tool regardless.
Yeah, and
Because he's a smart man
John
who doesn't
Cena
want to
pretends
raise
he
no
doesn't
babies.
even
You
know
don't
that
want to pay
shit.
the
So
child support. I'm just saying.
He's
Well,
not
don't
Ric
worry.
Flair
He's
in
gonna
this.
pay for it through his divorce.
Oh,
that's true.
And he lost the house already in Florida
Oh.
to Incoterm state levy. So
Oh shit.
Oh.
sorry, John. Sorry.
Well,
John.
It was on TMZ.
Thank the IRS. Sorry,
Boom, boom,
what?
boom.
What?
at least
Sorry.
he can afford another one, unlike the wife.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's paying what is that alimony? Yes.
No, he's not.
Mm.
He
Not
gave
yet.
her severance, and that was it because he had an ironclad.
Well, how much did he pay for
So-
severance?
So he fired her as his wife.
Pretty
and-
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Nice.
That probably was Vince told him. to
He-
do.
I wonder if she can file with the state of Florida for, what do they call it?
Unemployment.
Yeah, unemployment.
That would only be
What,
if the
your
Bella.
oc-
That would
your-
only be if the Bella twin that's
Your
with
occupa-
John now.
Your occupation? A wrestler's wife.
That should be an
As
occupation.
Linda Hogan.
Oh.
Yeah,
Or
see,
one
a
of the
lot
many
of-
Flair
a lot of
That
wives.
was a
people
slow part
Oh.
time.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of guys learned from that Linda Hogan thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm all for the girls getting their due, but she did not pick up Andre. She did not drop one leg on nobody. She got a lot of money.
Yeah.
For
And-
doing nothing
for-
but raising Nick and
Brooke.
half
what's her name? The
Brooke.
blonde that.
Bro.
Who?
The president of the TNA Knockout Division. Brooke.
Oh,
Yeah, I like how
please.
she was able to just walk in there. Okay, I'm going to be the president of the TNA
Hey, my question-
TNA Knockout Division, and then done a damn thing.
When is Brooke gonna have a match?
She
Never.
doesn't need a match. She is the president of the TNA Knockout Division. She tells them what to do.
Ankle grab.
Yeah.
Ankle grab.
It's okay, Nick. It's
Barack Obama doesn't go to Afghanistan and fight, so she shouldn't be going in the ring and fight.
Okay, we're not going to turn this into a political warfare.
Yeah, come on.
Let's just move on.
Move
Moving
on,
on.
please.
Moving on. Moving on.
Moving right along.
Brooke, I am on your side. You don't have to get
I
in the
said
ring.
moving on, Nick.
You don't have to get in the ring.
Brooke, get in the ring.
You don't have to. You marry Bully Ray and he dumped you. That's enough.
Get your shit sewn up, by the way.
Oh,
Just saying.
speaking of Bully Ray,
One of the
You
best
mean
heels in
Mark?
wrestling.
yes, one of the best heels. His current heel turn is, well, he never turned.
He never turned. He never turned face.
He never turned face.
No.
And people love him for it. I mean, I'm sorry, but
It's
I
kind
was
of
a huge.
It's kind of sad for a guy in his 40s to be the best heel in the company. Got all these young guys in the locker room. It's kind of
Well,
sad.
you know, TNA has a lot of talent, and not all of it's good.
Bully Ray would not be Bully Ray without Paul Heyman.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I
Totally agree.
You know what? Same
Bumpers.
thing with
Bumpers.
Devon.
You're late
Same
on
thing.
the bump, dude. I'm just saying.
You know what? Screw you. Screw you guys.
Evolution right here, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
That's
Oh
the
wait,
Shield.
no, we're the Shield.
Heel, oh.
They don't even know they're wrestlers. What? What?
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna blame it for lack of sleep.
I'm gonna blame it on sheer stupidity
I'm
and
gonna,
not getting laid
I'm
last night.
I'm gonna blame it
You got
on
laid
that I
this
peed.
morning, though.
I'm gonna blame it on that I peed on myself.
Oh!
And I'm blaming it on him for peeing on me.
Hey, I said this fucking ShamWow came in and cleaned it
I
up.
did not lift my leg.
Where's my
Anyway,
Roomba?
Roomba. Say what?
Anyways,
I mean, we
we're
don't
getting
we don't
very off
we're
topic.
not
Okay,
room
come
buying.
on,
We are
let's-
fandangling, sir.
Oh, how dude.
Fondungo.
Let's
Fondant, go away.
Fondant, go
Away.
No.
let's
Yes.
We talked about that gentleman last week. We don't need to revisit.
I don't know. Do, 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 do,
do,
do, do, do.
I refuse.
Every podcast is gonna happen. We did that last week. Every podcast.
I refuse. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
He's just jealous that he has a beautiful dancer.
yeah, he looks like friggin' zebra stripe gum. Okay, well, we're not gonna go there.
Okay, let's talk about the Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Snooze.
Yeah, can I go take a pee
Snooze-iversary?
break while you guys are talking about that?
And what's wrong with Slammiversary? The 11th anniversary of TNA being a business. I mean, what's wrong with that?
And that was all.
And the main event for the pay-per-view is Bully Ray versus Sting. What's wrong with that? That will sell tickets.
Sting should not wrestle anymore. No offense, Sting.
He has one more match.
Nice.
The one with Undertaker. That's the only
That
thing.
agreed.
That's the
Agreed,
only thing.
yeah.
That Sting, please, for the love of God, leave TNA for all of us WWE fans.
Icon versus
Thank you.
icon.
Yes.
Yes.
Sting, Undertaker, Sting, put your career on the line. Undertaker, put your career on the line.
That would be a great
Great.
street
Yes.
breaker.
Yes.
Yes.
Could you merge it into like WrestleMania and TNA's whatever?
That would never happen unless
No.
WWE was buying TNA.
Well,
Which
I
might
have my
happen.
own opinion about that. I think it's already going on and we're just not privy to it. But there's a lot
But
of
I
stuff.
mean, what if that could potentially happen?
That would be interesting.
Because
But how would they sell the pay-per-view?
well, they would have to sell it. I mean, obviously it would be separate. It would be still WrestleMania, obviously, because that would supersede anything.
Plus, I'm not going to buy the
Nobody's
pay-per-view
gonna-
that say Slammiversary.
No, obviously not. They're going to keep WrestleMania as the name because people will buy it. But you'd have to add more matches, you'd have to make it longer, and you have to have an earlier start time.
It would
But you
be
need to have the mega match, and I think you're right. Sting versus The Undertaker would be the ultimate wrestling match ever.
I
Or
think
not.
if they were to do something like that, the pay-per-view should be 6 hours.
No, that's too long. That's
No,
too much.
no,
No.
For as much as they
Six-
charge for that, are
I'll
you
tell you what.
serious? Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
We got it We got it this year, and how much was it? Like $62
Yeah.
for WrestleMania. Yeah, they need to go
And
if
that
they're
was
gonna.
HD.
Yeah, if they're gonna bring Sting and the Undertaker together for one match, one time only, both careers on the line, it has to be bare minimum 60 minutes of just great wrestling action. Not so much the high-flying stuff that we were used to seeing with them when they're younger, but just great mat wrestling, what we know they both can do in the ring, and what they should be able to do for the fans. The fans would want to see a good old classic wrestling match.
Wrestling?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I want to see some old school get on top of the top, you know.
Go old school.
Yeah.
Sting does the Stinger
Stinger
splash.
splash.
Yeah.
And
Maybe-
the Scorpion Death Lock, not Death Drop. The
Yeah.
Scorpion Death Lock.
No, Sting, if you're going to do the Scorpion Deathlock, lock it in correct.
Thank you. You're making The Rock do that move to perfection. I'm sorry.
No,
Wow.
Nobody did that move better than Bret Hart, though.
Exactly. Agreed.
Even when I watched Sting in the WCW, Bret in the WWE, WWF, Bret did it much better. He
Yeah.
executed the move
Agreed.
much
Agreed.
better. It
Agreed.
was totally...
Agreed. Even when Bret Hart came at one night only to face the Miz for the U.S. title, he still put it on perfect.
Yeah. And he's way too old. He suffered brain damage because of
Right.
that kick from Goldberg.
Yeah. Which I had that on VHS, by the
Oh.
way. That kick is just brutal. Bret just took that straight to the freaking head.
I know. I'm surprised they didn't stop the match.
I know.
Okay, now William, I believe you wanted to wish a couple of people some birthday wishes.
Yes,
We
I
got the
do.
birthday music going.
Yeah.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Whatever.
whoever. Happy birthday to you. Yes, I do actually want to wish a happy birthday to 3 wrestlers out there, all from the TNA locker room. First off, they share birthday, which is today, June 2nd. So AJ Styles and Velvet Sky, happy birthday to you. And also a honorable mention to ODB, whose birthday is actually on Thursday. So fellow Geminis out there, like myself, happy birthday.
And
Yay.
also Wednesday is Mr. Williams' birthday, and he'll be 29. So
Yay.
happy
I'm going to be
birthday
an old man.
to
You know
my-
what? I think you're one of the youngest people in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the youngest.
Yeah.
I'll be 27 this year.
Well, still,
2
you
days
two are the
before
youngest
Sochi.
people in this room.
Not that young, but okay.
And we're both very active in bed. We have
Oh.
lots of wrestling matches for the World Heavyweight title.
I love the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, but
just
here's
so
the
you know.
thing. Here's the thing. You guys don't allow for any outside interference.
That's right. That's right. There's
Our
no
matches,
run-ins.
our matches are steel cage matches with a
Yes.
lid, the door padlocked. Thank you.
And it's no holds bar. Okay?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And to let everybody know, it's probably a dark match.
Oh!
Hey, we do both, okay? We do both, just saying.
Occasionally we have the spotlight on the mat with the camera rolling.
And yes, blood is allowed in those matches.
Oh.
Just ask the sewage system to bring in the mat.
Okay, I'm going to moving on. Moving on.
Wow.
I want to talk. This is something that.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Another group of this.
Special potato.
That's what I did to her every night.
Oh.
Okay, edit. Quiet.
No, we're not editing
no.
that. That's
Just like
hilarious.
last week. Don't.
No editing.
Come on.
I like sour cream. Give me a break, okay?
Wait.
Think about it. Just think about it.
Oh.
And moving on, Big Al.
I want to talk about the vignette they did with the Wyatt family.
Like I said,
Who?
that's the reason that I peed on myself.
You didn't see it yet?
No.
No.
We
Oh
have
my
to pause.
goodness. Pause.
Pause for the cause.
Okay, we're back from watching the Wyatt family vignette. And everybody's thoughts?
Bill, go ahead.
Are all 3 of them like child molesters? I mean, seriously, that was kind of the impression I got, that they weren't wrestlers, but yet they're ones that you find on America's Most Wanted for molesting children. And yeah, oh, please, what's his name from America's Most Wanted? Please tell me they're all wanted. Just please.
I like the fact they're using Husky Harris, though.
Okay, my turn. Okay, it's like the Insane Clown Posse meets Jeff Hardy meets The Village. And if you've ever watched the Village movie, they have the little monsters that run around and try to keep people from leaving the village. That's what it looks like to me. It's absolutely nuts. And I think didn't they do one similar to this where they had the guy, is his name Kazarian? Or what was his name? He had
yeah.
blonde hair and they did the whole series for
Kazarian.
Kazarian, was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it for how many weeks where they would do that similar vignette and they made him up to be this big huge thing and then what happened? It flopped. So, I mean, what are they trying to invoke with these people? I don't understand. It's creepy, it's weird, and I'm not really sure what they're
It's
trying
almost like straight out of the movie Deliverance.
Yes.
you know?
You know what? You know what? I agree. It's creepy. It's weird. It's probably one of the best vignettes I've seen probably in a long time. I watched the Wyatt Family when they were in NXT and the work they done. You got 3 very good wrestlers coming up from developmental, about to compete in WWE, and their characters are very different. Watching that was like watching something from The Village, or watching this upcoming movie called The Purge, where crime is legal for like a day.
Yeah.
It's almost like I watch a promo for that a little bit.
But if you've seen Jeff Hardy stuff too, if you watch him in TNA, and he has his own band called Peroxy something or another.
Jeff Hardy's sniffing that paint. You have to
Okay, but
excuse Jeff Hardy.
it's almost exactly like his mindset of things. It's very, very out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not really sure what they're trying to portray with the little Mary Had a Little Lamb. I mean, are they trying to say that people are sheeple and that you'll follow along with everything because it's easier that way? Then yeah, I
basically it's like that with them showing the stop sign and them showing the sign for Old Bay and everything. They're basically saying people are sheep. You're following the rules of society, and should you have to really? Should you be your own person, follow your own rules?
Well,
It's almost like he's building a cult. This is like serious society on acid.
It kind of reminds me of
Okay,
the
yeah.
Blue Brothers.
I was actually going to say, it
Yeah.
almost reminds me, if they're going to pull this storyline again, they might as well put Punk in this group because he is
Or-
just like
Well,
that. where
not
he
quite.
he goes against the grain of
Yeah,
what everybody says.
He goes against the grain, but I don't think he's at the weirdness that these guys are.
I mean, they're a little out. They look like they're high.
But you know what? You know who would be the perfect manager for them? There's 2 guys I have in mind.
Oh.
James Mitchell will probably be great for him.
I don't disagree with that.
And I also will say Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
Give it his
Yes.
background.
Jake the
But,
Snake.
but if you're gonna mention those 2, R.I.P. to you out there, Paul Bear. I have to say, Paul Bear would be.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
You-
If Percy was alive,
What
yeah.
about Zeb Coulter?
Zeb Coulter, they already did that with the Blue Brothers.
Yeah, but he's helping out right now with Jack Swagger. I mean, it's all.
Swagger hasn't went to jail yet, so
Yeah, but
technically
he-
he's still with him.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you think about it, it's essentially the same thing that Zeb Coulter's doing now with Jack Swagger.
No,
only a
no,
little
no,
more
it's not.
intense.
No, it's not. It's about
intense.
America. It's about Jack Swagger's America.
Well, but
I think they
but
would
if
be
you-
kind of anti-American. I think.
Yeah, they will be anti-American, the Watt family.
Yeah.
When you think
They
about
look
that,
like those
to an
people.
extent.
they're like those people that live in the back hills who are
Yeah.
cannibals in the movie The Wrong Turn.
Okay.
They eat
Like
people
it's
who
that-
come off the
The
road.
Village. It's the Village. It's,
Deliverance.
It's the
Yeah.
It's
Deliverance.
along those lines.
Yeah.
definitely. I think that's a
Hey,
general
William.
consensus here.
You got part of my house, don't
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh.
if Ned Beatty didn't make it down, I think a Frenchman in a pair of bicycle pants ain't got a chance.
And
Oh,
imagine
Lord.
seeing them in the tag division. Imagine seeing Brian competing maybe for the World Heavyweight title down the road. I mean, it's going to be a great faction and just...
I think it'll be a short-lived faction. Like they'll have it for a while, and then they'll splinter off and do their own thing.
I don't think so. I mean, that's the fear that I personally have. That short term, they go hit it while the ground's running. They go be awesome, but in the long term, it kind of scares me a little bit because you look at the makeup of the Shield right now in WWE, how great they're being utilized, and you're bringing another potentially very strong faction from the developmental on up.
Maybe this faction though is going to feud with the Shield.
That's
See, you
Or-
don't want that. I don't
Or
want that.
the Shield's eventually just going to peter out, and they're going to break off, and these guys are going to be the new.
Well,
I can
technically,
see that.
technically, the Shield, all 3 of them basically go into single matches and still be the Shield.
Yeah, but the thing is
Going to the
that
single ring.
what happened with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase when they had been together for a long time, or The Miz and John Morrison when they were together, eventually they broke apart, and that's the same thing that's going
Yeah,
to
but
happen.
they weren't as great and as strong as the Shield is right
Well, I would disagree in some facets of that because if you think about The Miz and John Morrison, they were awesome together. They worked
There
well
was division during that time. Who they faced like a million times? Jamie Noble and Shannon Moore.
Well, Shannon Moore.
And Crime
really,
Time.
Yeah, Crime Time was a good division too. They were good together.
Well, Ms. Morrison didn't really face Crime Time during that period. I think that was like a year later when Crime Time really got involved in the tag
Yeah, I
division.
mean, but-
During the Jericho era,
Well-
when they held the tag belts.
Okay, but
Oh.
the point being,
Jericho was a good tag team. They were a good tag.
Well, I'm sorry, but Jericho himself is just Jericho. He doesn't need to be tagged with anyone.
Hey,
He
he's
is
the
his
master
own.
of 1,001 homes.
2004.
1,004.
He got 3 moves more than Dean Malenko.
Okay, the point
Yeah, I was
being
gonna say,
is,
Dean Malenko is the master of 1001, right?
Jericho's the master of 2004. Okay, let's get that straight. Let's do the math.
I'm just saying the Shield is going to peter out, just like, who else recently who was, just themselves.
Don't mention the Nexus. Don't mention.
No.
Yeah, the next one
Blah.
that was a joke, to be quite honest.
Thank you.
And,
You know what?
And the core was just horrible.
The core was even worse.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wade Barrett, for breaking your collarbone, so that way we didn't have
I
to
know.
deal with the core anymore.
I know.
Yes, but here's the thing, Nexus, they're the ones responsible for Ryback. I blame them.
Yeah, because wasn't he,
He was a part of it.
Sheffield.
Yep, what do you
He was
do?
a part of it.
He
and
was
then,
he was the enforcer of the Nexus. He was
and
the
then
enforcer.
he broke his
Leg.
yeah.
Yeah, he broke his leg, which was,
Feed me penis.
Oh, good lord.
which was unfortunate that he broke his leg because he really was a force for that group.
Which leg did he break?
The third one.
Nah, I was
That's right.
hoping. Nah, I was hoping that.
Kickstand, what?
Tripod.
Tripod.
I mean,
No, I just think that the Shield is gonna get old,
yeah, they're gonna get old, but just right now they're
I
ready.
mean, they're hot for right now, but like you said, long term, how are these people gonna
I
last?
think long term they will last a long time because you have 3 great wrestlers, different personalities, strong personality, very well written, very well built. They're not like your typical guys that came from the developmental who are scared to death when they see more than 2,000 people perform. They see more than 2,000 people. These guys are very confident. They will stick around long term.
Yeah, but also the guys from the Shield, they were considered top talent in Ring of Honor.
Well, 2 of them. Roman Reigns is a natural. He ain't really come from the Indies. This guy came.
Yeah, Roman Reigns came from a pedigree of
Exactly.
family of wrestlers,
Right.
in which he was almost
Yeah, but he
bred
was-
to be one.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
he I guarantee you, he was there when his father won the tag belts. His father and uncle won the tag belts. I
Oh, yeah.
guarantee
Oh, yeah.
he was there during all of his matches where he always heard the crowd booing his dad. He's like, I could do better.
Like,
He was there when The Rock blew his hernia at WrestleMania.
yeah, exactly. His cousin, by the way. Probably.
Yeah, and also related to Yokozuna, Rikishi.
Yeah, Tamina Snuka,
The
who
Usos.
got a brand new truck thanks to her cousin Dwayne.
Yes.
That's all over Twitter.
Yeah, well, he makes enough money. I'm sure he can claim it as a charitable contribution
Hmm.
every
Already was when he did it.
Exactly. You can thank the IRS.
How many men did he blow to get that truck though? That's my question.
Oh.
Well, he didn't have a low voice for a reason for a while. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Well, back to the Wyatt family though.
Okay.
I mean, they kind of remind me of remember the faction that Hillbilly Jim grew out of?
Yeah. Oh crap.
Do you?
Vaguely, it's
Yeah.
that's
that's
a
the
little
thing.
bit. That's a little bit before.
Before time.
Yeah, because, being only 29, Hillbilly Jim. That's going back to 86, 87.
Yeah.
That's right when I started to remember little things. So I don't remember that era well. So vaguely, doing past research, kind of, sort of, but not really.
It kind of reminds me of a heel version of those guys.
But Brian Watt's not gonna be no hillbilly.
No.
It's
No,
almost like he's taking
but
he's taking the Barry Windham personality and he's twisting it.
Either that or he's going to go with his grandfather, Blackjack Mulligan version.
Yeah,
Well,
he could be.
What if it's like, the Brothers of Destruction and
I can see a little bit of McFoley in him.
Because if you think about it, because
As far as
if
the
he
psychology
becomes,
of
right,
it.
because he's very extreme. He's very out
Right.
there. The Brothers of Destruction, you know, The Undertaker and Kane, they're also out there. Kane's very out there. For a long time, he didn't have a very vocal role, but now that he's become into his
Unfortunately,
own,
they made him talk.
okay, but he's not
There's nothing
so
wrong with that.
bad.
That was the best
He's
thing for
not
his
so
career that he
bad.
started.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't think it was as bad. I
It was
think
the best thing
helped
for his
him.
career when he started talking.
And right, exactly. And I just think it may be a combination of that.
When it
or
was
a
Isaac
different
Yankum,
way.
he sure didn't talk that much.
Maybe a
Oh
different
God!
way.
Don't remind me of
Isaac Yankum.
Dr. Isaac Yankum.
DDS.
Oh God! Don't remind me of that storyline.
Let's move on from that.
Glenn, we apologize for bringing up that former persona of
He
yours.
like, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Glad though you have a college degree though. We know you actually have some
Okay, we're
intelligence.
moving on.
Now we're going to do our top 10 heel list.
The main event for tonight.
The main event for the night.
Ding ding.
No, I'd have to say this is the heat of the night.
Okay.
The last two segments, I think, are going to be our cool down.
Okay, so you're talking about the climax. Let's go.
Okay, climax of the night is our top 10 heel lists. And I think we
Yes, start with Marjorie.
got to start with Margie because she went over a little bit, which is fine because
It's your show.
it's my show. And
Just to
Screw
let
you
everyone
all. Yeah.
know, and thank you for saying screw y'all, I have a top 12. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my starting from the bottom, 12, 11, and 10, and then everybody can jump in on 10, so that way it's fair. I thought a little bit out of the box for this, so you can agree, disagree, whatever. Okay, so my number 12 is Trish Stratus. You know, I don't think we should just include divas. I think that she had a lot going on in the WWE when I watched her, when she went from blonde to brunette, back to blonde, I don't know. But she definitely was a diva with attitude, and she was never really one of those you wanted to fall in love with types.
I'm trying to remember her heel turn.
Well,
I do very
I
well.
always thought she was just a heel. I never really saw her
No,
as a face.
Her best heel turn was the whole love triangle with Chris Jericho and Christian.
Oh yeah, there's that.
And she turned her back on Jericho at WrestleMania and went with Christian. Basically
I
cost
don't
Jericho.
remember any of
Basically
this.
cost Jericho the match
weren't
and
watching
gave
it
Christian
at
the
the
win.
Oh, that's probably it then.
I
Okay.
wasn't watching at that time either. The last thing I remember was when she was with Vince. And
Right.
then she turned on it. You know, she turned
Well, she went face, yeah.
And she went face.
But the point being is I really never liked her in any capacity, and I never really saw her as a face. She always just was kind of dingy and just slutty to me, but that's just me.
Well, then later she appeared on a porno, but that's besides the point.
Okay, number 11 I have is The Miz and John Morrison, okay? They were always assholes, always. That's just how they acted in the ring. They were smug, they were arrogant, they thought they were always better than everyone else. Granted, that's a lot of people in the WWE, but again, they were never good. There was never any kind of, you know, we turn face at any time,
Don't do that again, Bill.
okay? And my number 10, Eric Bischoff,
Yes.
okay?
Woo!
Yes, that was a great heel turn. When the runner of the company is on your side as a heel, how can you go wrong?
Exactly, and now that the fact that he's in TNA and he's still an asshole there, you know, it just proves that that's just who he's always gonna be. Okay, everybody else.
Let's start with Sosie.
Oh, okay.
Since you got all comfortable, I'm going to make you uncomfortable now.
My number 10, I'm gonna start with Randy Orton. I love the whole.
When did they ever turn him face?
Randall Keith Orton?
Seriously.
They didn't. People start cheering and he stayed the same, which is what I like. I love the whole thing with punching people in the head and I'm crazy and you can't fire me because now I have a lawyer and I have a mental illness and now I'm a protected class or
Yeah, right?
I mean, it was
And I'm
just.
gonna kiss the boss's wife. What?
Yeah. I'm gonna kick girls in the head and punch people's old man. I'm like, I just love it. I want him to go
I'm
back.
going to rape your child.
Go back to
Oh.
go back to the Legend Killer persona.
It was okay, but I like crazy more than Legend Killer.
This is true.
Yeah.
Crazy wins.
Okay, Nick.
Never tell on my list. He always been a heel, but I would have to say, wrong page. I'm sorry. Wrong page.
Fire.
I have to flip it over, people. Number 10 on my list, I would have to say Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes.
You know
Number
what?
10 on my list.
I never thought he was a face or a heel. I always thought he was just neutral.
It seemed like he was neutral, but the most heelish thing he ever done.
Was the warrior thing?
No, not the Warrior thing. The Macho Man Randy Savage thing.
The snake bite on
The
TV.
snake bite,
The
yes.
snake bite on TV. Why you missed Survivor Series
Yes.
91.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
And when he punched Miss Elizabeth. Right in the middle of the
Yeah,
ring.
I don't agree with that. Even for a storyline, that's a little too far.
Punch her in the face.
You put Macho Man on that list too. If we're gonna about who punched Miss Elizabeth.
Nah.
Oh, come on.
So
let's
that's-
not make fun of the
That's
dead.
number 10 on my list is Jake the Snake Roberts, everybody.
Okay, William?
I actually am gonna go a little more new school and actually put Chris Jericho as my number 10. The recent storyline that he actually did with CM Punk about a year ago, in which he was making Punk look like he was a drunk, a drug addict, bringing his family into it.
That was great.
That was great. That was classic Chris Jericho as we remember him.
Yes.
And that's why he actually appears on my list, is because of that last storyline. It had been a while since he made a heel turn. I think this heel turn was
One of his best.
one of his best, and he played the heel really well, and he appears on my list for that very reason.
Okay. I'm going to go with my number 10 as Bubba Dudley.
Crap just hit the fan.
Quite literally, the
You mean
fan just blew your paper onto
You
your
mean
face.
Bubba Ray
Why?
Dudley?
Why?
Why? That's my question.
Why? It's because, okay, it takes a really kayfabe bad man to put an old lady through a table.
That's true. That's pretty
I
shitty.
mean, we're talking about his WWE days or his ECW days.
I'm talking about as a whole.
He did more extreme stuff in ECW.
I never watched him in ECW. I'm just saying, he was out there.
When he was in ECW, him and Devon actually threatened to leave ECW with the tag belts.
Yeah.
Their first ECW telecast on TNN was their last day
Yeah.
in ECW.
I
They
remember
won the tag belts in the very first match on the air,
Yeah.
and then later in the night, Paul Heyman screwed them at the end of the telecast. If you remember right.
Mm-hmm. I have it on DVD.
Yeah, that was pretty extreme that they made it publicly known on ECW television that they were defecting to the WWE. That was kind of asshole-ish. No
Yeah.
offense to you, Bubba Ray.
I'm sure he'd find it as a compliment.
I'm sure he
I'm pretty
would.
sure Paul Heyman said, "Man, I got so much attention from that, and WWE gave me such a kickback for that."
No.
Oh well.
Oh.
They own all of my art footage now. Who cares? I got rich off that deal.
Thank you, Bill, for stealing number 9 for me. So that's my number 9, the Dudley Boys.
Okay.
Well, okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm done. I did my number 9, Dudley's.
MJ?
Okay, and I did another diva, Maurice, okay, and I know you may say, well, why her? She's always had an attitude, always.
I agree.
She's
I agree.
always been snotty, always, well, I'm better than everyone. She always, she would speak in French,
That's
exclude
why the Miz
people.
is marrying her.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Mike
Well,
was
I'm sure he likes
Oh,
more pussy
Mikey.
like every other guy.
No,
but the point I'm trying to make,
Oh, Mikey.
They belong together.
Oh,
Well,
Mikey.
I agree. I mean, they're both
Mikey.
annoying and they're so just.
Mikey.
Ugh. But-
Awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got engaged on Valentine's Day this year.
Hashtag awful.
Well, I mean, their kids are going to be pretty. They're just going to be really annoying, and vain.
What's Mikey's Twitter handle?
right?
I think it's
the
Mike
Miz.
the Miz.
She was always vicious in the ring. She never showed any affect or anything.
Plus, she treated Goldust pretty horrible.
Yeah, she did. And the fact that she always put
Yeah,
herself.
him trying to teach her how to freaking wrestle.
She was always status, and everything she did was very, I don't know, flippant. She was always just like, I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm speaking French. I mean, come on.
She's French Canadian. Can't go
You
wrong.
know what?
I know
You know
that. But she was good
I
at
have
what
to-
she did.
Like
I
I said,
have
she
to,
would have been a
I
great
have
manager.
to,
I don't
actually,
disagree with that.
I have to actually pop for you using the word flip it.
Thank you.
That's
Give
awesome.
her a crowd pop.
Yes.
Thanks. I try to use big vocabulary words when I can. Anyway.
Awesome. Anyways, let's
That
move
felt
on.
like a Damien Sandow moment.
Oh snap.
Oh snap!
Let me get my dictionary on my Merriam-Webster's on my phone, okay?
Today, kids, the word of today is curriculum.
Hey, kids, word is flip it.
But-
Anyway,
Let's move on.
let me move
Al's
to
number 9.
My number 9? Or Sosie's number 9?
Oh, let's do Sosie. We kind of
Ladies first, sorry.
Okay.
So
She's been
she-
kind of
So she
quiet
will love
this
you.
entire-
You're
Sorry.
quiet today. Come
Yeah, I
on.
have. I'm in pain.
I'm
But,
sorry. You want Excedrin?
no, I got some muscle
What
relaxers, but I'll
hurts?
fall asleep.
So your number 9 is muscle relaxer?
No,
That's an awesome wrestling name.
No,
No.
it's Alan's penis. What?
no, it is actually $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
That's a good one. Money,
Money, money, money.
Here we go. We start laughing. Ha 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 ha. What?
Because I mean, making kids cry. I mean, just like awesome.
Oh, the bouncing the basketball
Well-
10 times, then kicking
And
it
then,
away after
remember
9.
when he kicked all the kids out of the pool so he could
Yes.
go sunbathe?
Yes.
I mean, awesome.
That was
All-
one of the best-
All those vignettes were awesome, but the worst heel thing ever done is hiring Andre the Giant to win the
Yeah, the
WWF
champ for him.
Championship for him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
That was
having
terrible.
Andre, who been in the business for God knows how many years, finally won the World Heavyweight Championship, and basically told this giant, "Give me my belt," and
Yeah.
he
Oh, I
put it
know.
around his waist on Saturday Night Main Event. After moments after he
And
defeated
he,
Hogan.
you know, and he degraded everyone by putting money in their mouth after he beat the shit.
Yeah,
out
I
of
mean,
them.
great.
That's
You know
why-
what? That's how they got their payday.
Yeah, that's
I
how they
know,
got
I
the
know,
thing.
but come on.
Yeah,
like,
that's the
seriously?
jobber's payday.
Right?
And Virgil came behind and took it.
Virgil!
Virgil like, I'll give you mine too. That's called tax.
Virgil got his 5-finger discount every match Ted wrestled.
Hey.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Okay. But
Oh, good
we're
lord.
gonna.
Al, what's your 9?
Al just passed gas if you heard that on the podcast. He just
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I think he's going to pee himself. His head's about to explode.
Hey, this podcast is lasting about as long as a TNA pay-per-view is.
Oh!
We may have
Well-
to split this into 2 parts.
Well, the minutes of this podcast is larger than Impact's ratings.
Oh.
Anyway, number 9.
Number 9, Al's number 9.
Why do we keep skipping everybody going straight to me?
Because
Hey,
Marjorie-
because he stole my number 9.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, I did
So
steal
it's
your
not
number.
William.
Duh. Oh, is
It's
it
not
William?
William.
It's William? Go, William.
Okay. Number 9, actually, we kind of made jokes here and there about him tonight. Brother Love.
Lover love?
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard playing Brother Love.
Love.
Bruce, seriously, man.
I love you.
Exactly. How annoying was that storyline for all of us fans out there? I mean,
You know
Bruce-
what? It was funny.
It was funny, but it was also annoying. You wanted to just like literally, the word of the day whenever you heard him speak as Brother Love was gun, as in get me a fucking gun so I can shoot him.
Anyways, my number 9, Big Boss Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Big Boss Man and
When he, you mean the big boss man when he pulled the Big Show's father out of the
yes,
grave?
yes. Oh my God, yes.
And he forced Al Snow to eat his own dog?
Oh, I forgot about that one. Hey, I
That
just
was
found
bad.
Pepper.
That was terrible.
Horrible.
Whoever wrote that seriously needed to be fired because that was just wrong.
I'm surprised Peter didn't come after him on that one.
Now, interesting side note to the whole Pepper and Al Snow thing. They gave out Val Venus's shoot phone number for the hotline to call.
Wait, they actually gave his
Yeah.
actual phone number?
Yes.
You had to
Can
get
we
his
can
number
we pull up
changed.
that number so we can call him right now and get him on the air?
I'm sure by now it's been changed.
Oh man, I was hoping he'd answer and go, "Hello, ladies."
Oh,
Val, it's a sausage fest in here, not pussy.
let's move on to Margie's number 8.
I picked another diva, but that's my only last diva on this list.
It better be. Jeez
You know what?
Louise.
You guys are picking ones that are, sometimes obvious, not so much. I have some on here that aren't as obvious, but Lita. I picked Lita because she was probably one of the best female wrestlers of all time
I'll agree with that.
in WWE with, Beth Phoenix and Chyna, and I even have to say Trish Stratus, even though I don't like her very much, but she was a very, very good wrestler. But she was, everybody loved Lita. They still love Lita, even the fact that she screwed Matt the way she did. And everybody can say Matt screwed Matt, but you know what?
Yes, he did. Matt screwed Matt.
But the thing
It's like
is
Brett
that
screwed Brett.
the point being is,
Brett worked Brett.
okay, she went with another man. He found out because he heard over on a voicemail from Adam himself, also known as Edge, that he said, "I love you, I can't live without you." Okay? She could have not had that relationship. She lived with the man. They were engaged. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure CM Punk right now is rolling over and saying, "Is this true?"
And she
Yeah,
allowed
he knows.
she allowed her personal life
Okay.
to get into the business, and that is why she is on my number 8 list, because she allowed it to happen.
We're
Okay.
gonna let Nick go because he has to leave.
Yes,
Okay.
I had to exit. So I'm just going to run my list 8 through 1.
Okay.
Number 8, Just Incredible.
I'll agree with that.
Let me give you a summary of why I got Just Incredible at number 8. The reason I got Just Incredible at number 8, this is the same guy who basically broke the neck of a legendary Japanese junior weight wrestler, broke his neck on live TV at ECW. This is the same guy who basically kicked the crap out of Tommy Dreamer after he won the ECW championship from Taz at, I believe, CyberSlam 99. Tommy Dreamer finally won the ECW championship. The man hadn't even held it for like 3 minutes. He came to the ring, bust his skull open and said, "You gonna give me a title shot right now?" Incredible took that belt from him 15 minutes later. And number 7 on my list, we all talked about it, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Number 6, I have 2 people at this spot, Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff,
Agreed.
for various reasons.
Obvious reasons.
Number 5, I have Ravishing Rick Rude.
the actual wife on his shorts while he's gyrating, that was an awesome little bit of
Business.
Number 4, the NWO as a whole.
Okay.
Number 3, Kevin Sullivan, and we talk about off air the reasons
that was.
that
yeah,
was
that will never be discussed on
right
air.
now on the air. Number 2, Vader.
Yes.
Oh, I thought about him
Yeah,
earlier, yeah.
Vader number 2. He was just an awesome heel
Alan, you kinda
during
look
the
like
early
Vader.
WC. Hi, Leon.
I'm not racist.
Oh.
I didn't say you were, but you look like his
Well,
twin.
did you get into a bar fight with Harley Race and Paul Orton?
No.
No, but
And you
Harley
didn't slap a
Race.
Japanese guy on live television and get arrested for it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Harley Race, you don't mess with that man.
No.
Honorable mention
And
for
I-
everybody's list is Harley Race, because the man is gotta
Yeah,
be in his
and also-
70s now,
Yeah, I can't believe
and he can still.
I can't believe Harley stuck with him that long in WCW as his manager. It kind of shocked me.
Harley Race could
and
still
number
kick your butt.
and number 1 on my list, the Four Horsemen.
Agreed.
The 80s Four Horsemen, not the mid or late 90s and early 2000 Four Horsemen.
Not
I'm talking about,
Fortune.
is that not
The 4 horsemen that competed in the War Games
Games,
matches.
the early 90s
Yeah.
Four Horsemen? You know, that's the Four Horsemen I'm talking about, the real Four Horsemen. Everybody throw up your 4 fingers right now.
Can we time?
Yeah, it's like after 7:30. Just give me a call when you guys get ready to do the next one.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
seriously,
pretty sure this could be split into 2 parts, probably.
possible. Okay, Nick is left, but he'll still be signing off with us. And we're back for
You're number 8.
my number 8. And apparently your number 8.
And my number 8. Ow!
My number 8 is Killer Kowalski. Killer Kowalski, if you are a newbie to the whole wrestling thing, was an old school wrestler who trained guys like Triple H, Tensai, Sandow, wasn't it?
Either Sandow or Wade Barrett, one of them.
I think it was Sandow. But
It was.
Killer Kowalski, he was one of those heels where
His presence was scary.
his presence was scary. He just radiated this air of, I don't want to mess with that guy. And very few guys nowadays have that. And I really wish that they'd bring it back. Okay, I think we're ready for our number 7 slot.
Did I even say my number 8?
What was your, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't think I said my number 8. I know Marjorie did. I actually give my number 8 to the Big Show. His entrance into wrestling with WCW with the Hogan storyline of the Dungeon of Doom, absolutely great.
My son! My son!
Yeah, that was a good storyline where they actually build him as Andre the Giant's son, which my own opinion about that. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Andre, I've heard, had sex with a lot of American women, and it would not surprise me if the Big Show was a love child of Andre the Giant. It wouldn't surprise me.
Actually, I think he only had officially had
One.
a daughter.
Yes, this is true.
Officially.
But yes, moving
Officially.
on. Let's move on because otherwise we'll be
Here for 3 hours.
yeah.
Which is a WWE pay-per-view.
Yes.
Number 7. I picked William Regal.
Oh.
I agree with that.
Mr. Regal, I believe, was King of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I believe, wasn't he GM of Raw at one point?
Yes.
Even as an even as a wrestler for the WWE, when he does matches every so often, he's always been brutal, fierce, very vulgar in his mannerisms.
As well as just arrogant.
And just, you're right, absolute arrogance, and that's why you can't ever like him, but you do, because he just plays one of the perfect bad guys.
He's just like, he comes out and it just looks like he's smelling the air and just
He's like,
got
it's
a
disgusted.
disgusted-
Yeah, all the time. It's wonderful to watch him.
yeah.
And he's brutal in the ring. I mean, he's a hard hitter. You can tell when he hits people in the
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, he's still pulling his punches, but
He's still hurting somebody out there.
yeah.
But Regal, though, where he actually started wrestling was, from what I understand, he actually wrestled in like matches in which the mats were not even well taken care of over in England and stuff before he came to the WCW.
I'm
So-
sure they were using boxing ring matches, which are
Oh yeah.
mats, or which are
Well,
brutal.
yeah. You know, a lot of those foreign wrestlers who come over really had to work their way up, and this probably is like a vacation for them when they come in there.
Big props to Regal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sosie, you're number 7.
Oh, my number 7's already been talked about. Jake the Snake. Just, yeah.
Can't
All
get
around.
enough of that man. My number 7 is Gorgeous George.
Oh.
Nice. Old school.
Way old school because he was one of the best heels. He just gender bent everything.
The original Goldust.
He was the original Goldust. Goldust stole his gimmick. Goldust, I think, took it a step further, but still, it was a great gimmick for the 60s. To have a very effeminate man come out and work a match and whoop the holy hell out of somebody. And then get hot when somebody, like, touched his hair.
And then didn't he also throw like hairpins to the crowd just to kind
Yeah.
of get them all?
Or spray him with perfume.
Oh God. So how do you explain that one if you're a married man and you went to the wrestling match and you come home to your wife and smell like perfume? Yeah, Gorgeous George sprayed perfume on me.
Well, if you're any kind of husband, you take your wife.
Yeah, true.
That is true, and my wife would go with me to the show.
Unfortunately, yes, I would.
Anyways, what's your number 7 there, William?
It's a member of the New World Order. I have to give the number 7 nod to Mr. Hulk Hogan himself.
Really? I was expecting that to be further down on your list.
You mean
Well,
further up
further
on the
up.
list?
Yeah.
No, because Hogan, he played a heel when he first came to the WWE, and he was a heel in the AWA early in his career, and he'd already played that role. I think Hogan, though, as a heel, the crowd, it got to a point with Hogan in which the crowd wasn't booing him as a heel; they were actually cheering him as a
Yeah.
heel, and
Yeah,
that's why.
he kind of became a cartoon of himself.
Yeah, and that's why I just can't put him higher on the list. I can't put him higher than 7 on my list.
Okay, fair enough.
Number 6.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Vladimir Kozlov.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And the reason for that is when he came into the WWE and he started his matches, he had his feud with Cena, and he went in and destroyed all his opponents. And he was never polite about it. He spoke Russian. He was just brutal. He just absolutely brutal. And I feel like they faded him out too much. I feel like he was a perfect heel for the WWE, and I feel like they didn't utilize him appropriately. And, he's definitely up there because his matches were really brutal, especially the ones with him and Cena. I felt like he should have stayed in longer, and I felt like they shouldn't have faded him out like the way they did.
Those?
My number 6 has already been talked about again. We're going to start running into this more, I think, as we get closer to the top of the list. But Rick Rude, I mean, what can you say? It was the arrogance, the sexiness, all of it. It was. Yes, you're showing. What are you showing me? This is getting on the podcast now.
Oh, Vladimir Kozlov. You couldn't remember what he looked like, and I couldn't either. I couldn't remember his face.
I think Rick Rude was more known to be a heel because of his manager, not because of him.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It was the mouthpiece thing. His mouthpiece was somebody that we're actually going to mention later on. So
Yeah.
It's possible.
Okay. My number 6 is Jerry Lawler.
oh god,
Really?
Yes. As when he first came to the WWE.
Oh man, that was a feud to remember. Just Bret Hart. The whole thing he did with the Bret Hart family. The whole Kiss My Foot match. I
don't
the
really
way
see
he
it.
treated people when he first.
Especially not that high.
I mean,
Yeah.
what's funny is somebody at some point took a poop in his hat.
Yeah, but the thing is that, he's trying now to come back and do wrestling matches, and I just feel like he's trying to relive his youth, and I feel like he just needs to walk away and just be the commentator that he is. I'll leave it at that.
You know what? Every once in a blue moon, though,
I mean, every once in a
Girl
while...
Monsoon would.
Okay, but every once in a while is great, but I'm saying, he's been trying to come back more and have more matches. I just think he needs to stop. He's had a heart attack. He needs to watch out for his health, and he just needs to be what he is. He's a great commentator, and let that be that.
He may only wrestle 1 or 2 matches
But he takes a lot of bumps.
every so often. No, actually, I'm not going to go there. He wrestles maybe 1 or 2 matches a year with the WWE. What they don't tell us, and actually Michael Cole mentioned this on a talk show a few weeks or right after the heart attack happened, that Lawler actually wrestles anywhere between 160 to 200 matches a year
Yeah, he still
for
wrestles
other
weekends.
independent promotions.
Yep.
Whenever he's not doing Monday Night Raw, he's on the road performing for independent promotions, having
Or
matches.
his own.
Or his own company, and I think it's the USWA, is it, or something like that?
I'm not quite sure.
It's out of Tennessee, but
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah,
want to go
he-
see that next
he's
time we're
what,
in Tennessee.
62 or 63 years old? Yeah, he needs to step away. I mean,
Yeah, but those old guys, they want to die in the ring. So
Yeah, but what kind of honor is that if you die in the ring and you didn't really live a fulfilled life other than just wrestling? Do you think that their family members want to see him die that early? Honestly?
or maybe die on national television.
I mean,
Yeah.
nobody wants to see their loved one die on television, especially if something they could have prevented.
We already saw that with Owen Hart. We don't need to see it again
Oh,
in
let's
this
not mention
lifetime.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, moving on to
Yeah,
Ellen's
where we
sex.
Six.
I just mentioned it.
Oh.
Jerry Lawler.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
It's
That's right.
William's turn.
William, I'm sorry.
I'm going to give the nod to Axe, Smash, and yes, I will mention Crush in this same sentence. But the tag team wasn't the great tag team that they were with Crush. I have to say, Demolition. Boys, it was a pleasure meeting you a few years ago here in South Bend. It was a great time. Thanks for the pictures. Thanks for the memories. But I remember you as one of the best heel tag teams of all time.
I'll agree with that 110%.
And one of the best entrance songs ever.
Yes.
One of the best entrance songs ever pre-using actual music.
Yes. One of the things that I loved about Demolition was the fact that they didn't need Jimmy Hart.
No,
They didn't need a manager.
they didn't need Mr. Fuji.
They didn't need Mr. Fuji. They didn't need a Bobby Heenan. They didn't need a wizard. They carried their own.
Balls.
Yeah.
They did.
I mean, I remember them during Survivor Series. They would clean up on Survivor Series. I think they should come back with the old school Survivor Series rules.
Oh, this traditional Survivor Series match,
Yes.
and have Survivor Series be all Survivor Series matches, not just.
They can even do gimmick match Survivor Series matches.
Well, didn't they kind of do that with the Doink the Clown thing with Mabel and Mo and the Bushwhackers dressing up as Doink?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? I mean, yeah.
I withdraw my statement.
Are we at number 5 now?
Yes, I believe so.
Honey?
5. Jesse the Body Ventura.
You mean former Governor Ventura?
Yes, and also now his own show that he has on TV.
The conspiracy show.
The Conspiracy Theory.
It's actually pretty awesome.
I've actually watched. I really do like him. I think that he's very outspoken, and I feel like he's always been like that, especially when he was governor. I feel that he's always stayed true to himself, even when people did not like him. You know, I think that he deserves at least a 5 spot as being a heel because he's always been
One of
true.
the best commentators ever.
And that and his wrestling was, you know,
He was great in
he
the
was,
ring.
he's a great wrestler. So, that's my number 5.
Okay. My number 5, which I can't believe no one said this name yet. Roddy Piper.
Oh.
I
Took
mean-
mine from the next spot.
Oh, okay. I mean, come on.
Viper, I never saw as a heel. I saw him more along the lines of Jake the Snake, where he could go either way.
Yeah,
He
but
was a tweener.
Yes, he might have been a tweener, but I agree with her. He was always in everybody's face, loud,
Yeah.
obnoxious. Nobody. I mean, he wasn't like somebody you would want to come up to and say, "Oh my God, this is this is the kind of wrestler."
I legit thought he was
Yeah.
crazy as a kid.
He
I
was.
thought he was.
He's nuts. He's still nuts. He's an old man. He's crazy.
I am here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Does anybody remember his Hollywood movie he did in 1988?
And I am all out of bubblegum.
What? He was in something else, wasn't he? Too.
Hell comes to Frogtown.
I
and
thought
They
he was
Live.
in one of like a Walker,
Yeah, They
Texas.
Live.
Wasn't he in like Walker, Texas Ranger?
He was
He
in an
might have.
episode of Walker, Texas Ranger
He
as a
was.
pro wrestler.
And it was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
he's just always been obnoxious. And I love him because he gets out there, he wears his kilt, you know. He does crazy shit with his immies. He's all smiling and everything.
He'd be the perfect man to work at Tilted Kilt.
He would. He absolutely would.
Tilted Kill.
You never heard of Tilted Kilt? Oh my God, look it up. You'll understand.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do
And other
that.
people will know what that is.
Sosie, what's your number?
That
that
was
was
me.
your number
You,
5.
you don't pay attention.
My
I
number
didn't
5.
either.
My number 5 is the Ministry Undertaker.
Oh,
Ooh.
I like that.
And reason being,
Crucifixions.
yeah, trying
Enough
to
said.
sacrifice, trying to get the boss's daughter as your sacrificial virgin bride
Well, we all know that.
We all
Not a
know she
virgin
was
about
not a
her.
virgin.
Yeah.
Yes. Kayfabe, virgin bride.
Macho Man.
Aw.
Triple H.
Whoa. Pass around like-
Everybody.
Yes, exactly. Pass around like bowl soup. What?
Oh.
Anyways.
Everybody's had a taste. What?
Oh, what?
Anyways, enough of that slander.
Williams number 5.
I have to give it to the rated R superstar
Ooh,
Edge.
Yes.
nice.
Yes.
And it was mentioned earlier when Lita was mentioned. Thank you for bringing up Lita. I have to say Edge. That was
Quite the heel turn.
not so much of a heel turn, but in all honesty,
Dick
to
move.
you, Adam Copeland, that was dick move, douchebag move of a lifetime. You just don't steal another man's,
Especially when that's
Woman.
your bro.
Yeah,
especially when it's your real life best friend. They worked it into the storylines, but it also cost somebody a couple of years of their career because the guy had to leave the WWE. Otherwise, he's gonna kill you legitimately. So, Adam, Edge,
I mean-
Copeland,
Shame on you.
Well,
shame on you. You win the double swine award.
but you know what? They've made up now. Kind of one of those, the bros got over it, had a beer kind of thing.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
got CM Punk as a consolation
And
prize.
quite
They switched
frankly,
chicks.
you know what? He's happy now with Reby Sky, Matt Hardy. So good for them. They just got engaged not too long ago. So
Congrats, Matt Hardy.
So, congrats to them. I hope they have a good life. I mean, hell, he's with a Playboy Playmate, for Christ's sake, I believe. Or
F's gotten into that.
And
So-
a woman that got sued by the NFL for using the New York Giants trademark logo.
yeah. So, anyway, let's move on to number 4. I had Rowdy Piper at number 4, and for all the reasons we stated before.
Coconut.
Yeah.
Coconuts.
So,
Coconut on a coconut.
Ooh, what?
What?
Anyway,
All right.
Sochi.
My number 4, Iron Sheik.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I
Man.
like that.
He's
He
a
stole-
heel in real life. Like, he's a real life heel. Like,
You stole my number 3.
yeah, I said this was going to happen once we got towards the top. We were going to start steal. I mean, go ahead, add to it since we're already here.
This man, I actually met him about 10 years ago.
I'm sorry.
He was actually pretty cool. I think he was pretty high.
They gave him
Probably.
his medicine. You get my medicine, I will not go.
When am I getting paid for this shit?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's why.
WWE should knew better than to give him a live mic. I mean,
Enough said.
Yeah.
The end.
But anyways,
New story.
Iron Sheik he's a heel in real life.
yeah, exactly.
And if you want to spend an afternoon just crying laughing, just go and look on his Twitter or go and YouTube him.
Yeah, he likes to talk about sodomy a lot. So a lot of humbling other men with his penis. It's awesome.
So he goes along the lines of disturbing like Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Well,
I think Iron Sheik and Gary Busey should somehow make a baby.
Oh God, no.
Well, I'm sure that the Pope, taught him how to do that. But we can move on.
No.
Anyways,
Your number 4, William.
My number 4, I have to give it to number 94 of the Miami Hurricanes, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
good night.
Dwayne, seriously, how the hell did you get over as the face with the storyline last year with John Cena and you at WrestleMania? You know and I know that you were not the face in that match, but unfortunately you had home field advantage, literally and figuratively, in which, well, unfortunately the crowd was cheering for you. By the way, on a side note to you, Dwayne, I'm glad you actually did not like coming to South Bend because Notre Dame did kick your ass.
Nice.
Moving on.
Number 3, I have Evolution. And the reason why I have Evolution is because of the people inside of it. Randy Orton, I believe Batista, if I'm correct,
Trips.
and Flair. Okay. Triple H is
You
Triple H.
completely glossed over my number 4.
Did I? I'm
No,
sorry.
it's we talked about my number 3.
Oh well. If you,
But go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead. I'll do
Okay.
mine.
We'll come back to your number 4 and add your number 3. And how's that sound?
Okay.
Good. Okay. Basically with Flair, he's always been Flair. I mean, he's the nature boy. He's always just been arrogant and, you know, hostile. And he's just, I'm gonna be him. When you put him and you put Randy Orton, who's the, you know, the legend killer, and you put Batista, who's just basically a big massive, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Nice.
You know, that's just a recipe.
I see
for,
Ryback's new.
Exactly, it's just a disaster, and they work great together, and they worked well together. The only thing is I have to critique, you know, Batista when he left, doing his crybaby bullshit. You know, I'm tired of that. I see the kiss tongues coming out. Gene Simmons, get out of here. But I'm just saying, Batista, come on, man. We really liked you. He need to come back. I think he would do better in the WWE now. I didn't like how he left. I think he would be still good as Batista. You know, I believe didn't he supposedly get injured and was in a wheelchair? And all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
jazz?
yeah,
At the end of his WWE
I just
run.
feel like he just went out pussy style. He didn't really go out with like the way he should have, or at least gone out on at least good terms. I don't know.
Well, he was a legitimate crybaby backstage, from what I understand. He didn't like how the WWE was using his character, things of that sort.
Well,
So,
you know, okay, then maybe he got what he deserved, but I still thought he was a pretty damn good wrestler. Okay?
I can agree with that.
Okay, we'll go back to Alan's number 4 since we accidentally skipped over that. Sorry, Alan.
It's cool because I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this.
Oh boy.
Steve Carino.
Huh?
What?
Who?
Who's that?
what?
Steve
He's an old
Carino.
ECW guy. Oh, God. Gone.
Oh, jeez.
Just
He's like
He-
Daniel. He's like Daniel in Annoyance.
Oh, God.
he's a character who I like how he's a heel because he tries so hard to be a heel.
Yeah, but that's like the Brooklyn Brawler trying to be a wrestler. I mean, that just doesn't work.
Hey, you leave Pat Patterson's husband alone.
I know.
Oh.
I'm sure one of them's got the apron on right now, but that's besides the point, okay? The point I'm trying to make...
Abuse. Control. Make me a sandwich with mayo, please.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to Soshi's number 3.
Yeah, because we already did your 3, so
Yeah.
we'll go
So
to my
I'm
3.
cool.
My 3 is Hulk Hogan simply for the fact that it was one of the greatest heel turns of all time. Like nobody
Just unexpected.
nobody thought this was gonna come ever. He had what we now like to call the John Cena spot, where we were tired of the howdy doody and the take your vitamins and the blah blah blah, and we thought it
Brush
would
your teeth.
never
Enjoy
end.
your fruity pebbles.
Yeah, and we thought it would never
Don't
end.
forget to wash your dick.
And then he comes
Whoa.
out and he,
Herpes.
oh.
Valtrex, what?
A cyclovare. What?
Ew.
And I'm just hoping one day we might get the same thing from Cena. I'm okay with him being a face
Fruity
'cause
Pebbles
I
man.
just love John Cena, but I think if he at some point in the next 5 years just up and turned heel for
He
no
just
reason.
upturns the table of life and
Yeah.
is like, screw you all.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
go back
it'd be
to the
awesome.
John Cena of old.
Yeah.
And
The
Or do-
freestyling.
Or do something that's completely left field of both of those.
Yeah, and I think it will happen, but like,
Well, like country singer?
No!
Country singer,
No, because everybody remembers Kurt Hennig rap his
West
crap.
Texas rednecks.
Yes.
Okay, moving on from
Yeah.
that. No.
who's number 3?
My number 3 I have to give, and I do have something I would like to say that I've been wanting to say a while to this gentleman. I have to give number 3 to Brock Lesnar.
Ugh.
Brock, I'm going to tell you something quite frankly. and I hope you don't get pissed at me, and I hope you don't want to come to Indiana and beat my ass for this. But I must go Paul Heyman on you and actually say the truth to everybody out there. You know why you were UFC champion for 2 years? Because you beat up an old man in Randy Couture.
Nice. Actually, you stole Brock Lesnar as one of my spots, but I'll get to that when it's my spot.
Well, besides the UFC thing, he's a bully, he's a dick. You know, he has a voice of a choir boy, which I don't know how, but
Hey, he's
maybe.
from Iowa. They all do.
I mean,
They're
seriously,
just corn-fed. They're corn-fed.
You would think, though, after
Beef raised.
banging Rena Marrow, that he would actually drop his voice a little bit. I mean, did his balls not drop when he got off?
She gave him some of her testosterone.
No.
That's a real reverse block. Say what?
Hey guys, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's, hey guys, I don't know what you're talking about. I grabbed my balls. What? Or lack thereof.
Yeah, well, Brock's getting sloppy seconds. Mark Marrow had that first.
Ooh.
And then Austin.
And then everybody.
And then everybody else.
And Vince McMahon.
She still looks like she looked like a soccer mom to me back then.
She was somebody's mom. She's a grandma now.
That's nice.
It's like, I always think of
Anyways,
it like that
let's-
picture of the
let's-
Royal Rumble with all the guys in the line, and they're like, "Hey, Sable, is Sable home?" Like,
yeah, it's called
like,
gangbang.
"Hey, Brock Lesnar, is Sable home?"
Oh.
Let's move on to number 2 spot.
I put down Mr. Copeland, Edge, dun dun dun. You know, he's done a lot of things in his career. You know, he married Vicky Guerrero. He did all that shit against the Big Show and the Undertaker. You know, his feud with Cena, all his feuds with Cena. You know, he was extreme. He was always intense.
Put Paul Bear in the freezer.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
Put
The
Bob
fact that he
Bear in
was with-
concrete.
You know, the Lita thing, I mean, his career was always exciting, always out there, always just intense. He never was the good guy, never, not one time. And even when he was with Edge during his time with Test, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, am I wrong about that?
I don't think you are.
No. The point being is he was always,
R.I.P. Test.
he's
Andy
always
Martin.
been a great heel superstar, and you can never doubt his ability in the ring. Enough said. That's why he's my number 2.
Okay, Sosie, you're number 2?
Oh, okay. Number 2 for me is Ric Flair. I believe he's the archetype of the arrogant heel. You know, Jericho, Miz, all those guys, they got everything they got from watching Ric Flair.
And Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. You get the list goes on. Like
The flamboyance
yeah.
of the attire and the personality.
You
Definitely.
can even say that a little of the $1 Million Man came from
Flair.
Ric Flair.
I
The
can say
style
that.
of Porfran, the limos,
the
the girls,
grandeur.
all of that came.
Yeah.
Well, I think the WWE actually did that on purpose because they couldn't get Flair to sign. They wanted to get him to sign. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that's why they did the $1 Million Man, because they were trying to kind of make a mockery of Flair because he wouldn't sign with the WWE. He was the NWA's biggest superstar. At the time, he was 8 or 9-time world champion.
Yeah.
You know, the WWE wanted him. He wouldn't sign. So
Yeah.
$1 Million Man.
Yep.
My number 2 is Hulk Hogan, and we've already said everything we need to say about
Ad
him.
nauseum.
Okay.
well, I mean, you could bring up the sex tape too. I mean,
Oh,
Uh,
I saw
Next,
that. So,
next, next. No, we're not gonna talk about that. Ugh.
Hey, I've seen China's both of her sex tapes.
wait,
No,
she has
all
two?
3.
She has 3 of them.
Yeah, she was in the Sexy Avengers movie as She-Hulk.
That doesn't surprise me. I hope they
Did she
use
take
a
it
lot
up
of.
the pooper?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm sure you can Google that shit later. Yeah, see, now I really know.
Xbox on.
Okay.
Xbox, Cooper. What? Anyway,
Okay,
moving
let's
on.
move on to
Your
your
number
number
two.
2.
My number 2, I actually would have
Cooper.
to say thank you, for just the sheer how he did it and how it was played up. Triple H.
Agreed.
I would have to say he would be my number 2 because of the whole thing with Shawn Michaels, how he made it look like he was going to be reforming DX, face turn, mega face turn. Then the following week, give him the pedigree. The week after, threw him through the car window, which set up the SummerSlam. What was it? An unsanctioned fight in which Triple H used the sledgehammer to the back of the head of Michaels, which put him in a chair for like 6 to 8 weeks, and then that set up the first ever Elimination Chamber match in which Triple H legitimately actually got pretty hurt, if I remember right, in which he actually got kicked in the throat or something by one of the other guys and actually ended up in the ER that night, and they almost had to pull him out of the match mid-match, which, yeah, just his whole persona when he was the game was an absolute perfect heel move on his part, in which we mentioned it before, but I also have heard that role was originally made for R.I.P. Owen Hart.
Well, we're now on to our number 1s, and we're
Drum
also...
roll.
I'll put a drum roll in later, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
My number 1, and we've talked about this gentleman already, but the reason why I put him at number 1 is Mr. Brock Lesnar. Bill touched on some of the things that he's done, but I just find him to be an absolute total monster. Legitimately as a person, outside of his WWE character, and as the WWE character and the MMA fighter, and
I don't know. He'll still sign autographs at Jimmy John's.
that's what I was going to say, his Jimmy John's endorsement. Quite frankly, I find him to be destructive. I feel like his intent is just to hurt. Not just to wrestle, but just to be a hurtful human being. He popped John Cena in the mouth, which was not even necessary. He's gone after Triple H, and I understand that that's kind of the deal that's supposed to go on. But I just feel like he's a very, very, very violent individual, and that he is just generally an asshole in real life and on the wrestling stage. And that's why he got my number 1, and I really hope that he just leaves, because nobody needs to get hurt or killed. Or hurt or kill himself. If he's that much of an asshole, then go somewhere else.
He needs to go back to UFC and let Cain Velasquez knock him out in 1 minute.
If you're gonna be out there to hurt someone, go back to MMA. That's what it's for. Wrestling is not MMA. Wrestling is just wrestling.
So, see, your number 1?
My number 1 is the chairman of the board, Vince McMahon.
Really, that's a nice pick.
I picked him because of Vince McMahon, we had the Attitude Era.
This is true.
He ushered this in by being a heel. And there's pretty much no storyline other than the Randy Orton storyline where he was not a heel. He had a match with God. That's,
And
how can you be more heel than that?
Well,
He wrestled God.
Good versus evil type thing, yeah.
Well, and then the whole Trump thing where he had to shave his head because he lost his bet to Donald Trump and all that. He will put himself out there for anything. And everything.
Whatever,
just to get a rating.
Yeah, whatever's
And
good
get
for
money.
business.
Yes. I gotta agree with you. He's all about himself. You're absolutely right. And his business.
Yeah, whatever lines the pockets and pushes the ratings. And
hell, he's still built for a 60-year-old man. He's still built like one of the wrestlers. You gotta give him props.
Steroids!
Well, yeah, whatever.
GHG.
HGH, whatever. Yeah.
He's not gonna drug test himself.
No
That's
kidding.
for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm the chairman. I'll do what I want. What?
Yep.
She just did hers, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a lot of question marks at this one, but my number 1 is Bobby Heenan. Because he was by far the quintessential heel. You knew if anybody was involved with Bobby Heenan, he was a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a heel commentator. He
Yeah.
was the archetype of the heel commentator.
Heel commentator, heel manager,
I
and
mean,
heel wrestler.
Jesse Ventura, he was good at it, but Bobby Heenan was far better. Jerry Lawler, during the Attitude Era, tried his best to do Bobby Heenan.
Just couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't be Bobby Heenan. You want to say something, William?
Well, actually, my number one, you just mentioned his name, and I have to give the nod on number one to the body Jesse Ventura. I mean, even when he did his movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1987, The Running Man.
Which one? He also was in Predator.
Running Man. When he was in Running Man.
Yeah.
Even then, he played a retired over-the-hill wrestler turned stalker in the movie, and he was a heel in that movie. He was a heel on camera. He went on, I think, the Vicki Lawrence show in 93 or 94, and he was a heel on that show, in which all the other wrestlers were being who they were. Sting was not being Sting. He was being Steve Borden. I think Rick Rude was on that show. Rick Rude was being Rick himself, not Rick Rude. But Ventura kept with his character on TV and absolutely had the crowd booing him on a national talk show, which was absolutely insane. Ventura has a notorious hard-on for Hulk Hogan because I guess he stole, Hogan stole Ventura's real-life spotlight with the AWA. Ventura he was not afraid to speak his mind. He was absolutely 100% truthful in what he said, and it goes back to the old saying, and honey, you've heard me say this to you, people out there don't like hearing the truth. And that's why Jesse Ventura gets my number one spot, but in all honesty, Ventura keeps saying the truth. I love it.
Nice.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay, well, that wraps up our top 10 heels. That went way longer than I thought it would.
Well, when you have 5 people doing it, it takes a while.
Yeah.
No, not just that. It's just, we could have done a whole podcast on just that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to not prolong the time any longer.
Oh, and my segment for Book It this week is Team Hell No. Ladies and gentlemen, no one's a bigger fan of Team Hell No than myself, obviously. But Team Hell No's time has come and gone. It's time to break up this tag team once and for all. I have the perfect way of doing it. Right now, I sort of like what WWE is doing with Daniel Bryan going around discussing himself being the weak link of the team. Maybe when they get their one last title shot, maybe Daniel Bryan actually snaps and look at that big 7-foot tall goof and say to himself, "You're the weak link." Is it basically kick the crap out of Kane? Kick the crap out of Kane, and we see Daniel Bryan go to a full-fledged heel turn. Go back to the original Daniel Bryan. Go back to being Bryan Danielson again. Shave the goofy hillbilly beard. Cut your hair.
Eat
back,
some meat.
I wouldn't say eat some meat. Cut your hair back to the ROH style haircut. Get out there in front of the camera on Raw the next night and say you're the best darn wrestler in the company and you want to challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship. Face him in the middle of the ring. It will be the most legit, honest-to-God main event feud we're going to have for the rest of this year. I am predicting Team Hell No will break up. Daniel Bryan will cause Kane to be the weak link of the team. Daniel Bryan will go on, probably get into a feud with one major wrestler and challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship by Night of Champions this coming September. And Daniel Bryan will win the WWE Championship at Night of Champions this year. That's my segment for book.
I have one more thing to add to that.
Shocker.
And funny thing, he is the Shockmaster. But anyways, if they do that, I think a great program to run alongside that would be to bring back Evan Bourne and put him with Kane.
I don't think he has time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm just saying.
I don't know what's this fixation on Evan Bourne.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
I love the dude.
I know you do, but
Aww.
let me tell you this about Glenn.
Man love of the other kind.
Let me say this about Glenn. I'm going to say his real name. Glenn, ever since October, has some of the best matches he had probably in the last 5 years. He's legitimately happy being with Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan has really brought out the better wrestler in him the last several months. He has some great matches. The timing's perfect. He's having fun. But you're 46 years old. Your time is done. It's done. It's over with. It's done. I don't want to see Glenn no more. I'd rather see Daniel Bryan living up to his potential, being a main eventer. Because right now, we're dying a slow death seeing a feuding with Ryback. Really, they shouldn't even be feuding right now. This is the same.
Ryback.
D Ryback. Ryback rules. Yeah, whatever. This
Give
is
him
the
a
same.
T-bone.
This is the same guy that lost 7 pay-per-view matches in a row, and getting a WWE title shot for a second straight pay-per-view. Dude, does anybody really care about this feud? I know we made fun of the 3 stages of hell thing, but do anybody legitimately care about Ryback and Cena?
I want to see where it implodes.
There's only one to me.
It already has.
To me, and I don't get flack from this from the internet wrestling community. Really, they should appreciate this. Cause I'm talking about their darling. They should really appreciate the fact that we should see a Daniel Bryan, John Cena feud. Daniel Bryan is over right now. You saw the ovation he got when he was in Canada? Yes, no, yes, no. The guy's the most over guy in the entire company, ready for the main event. He's not gonna drop the ball. You give him a storyline, he gonna get the most out of it.
If Daniel Bryan is going to become a main eventer, they have to put him in the ring with somebody that can wrestle with him and legitimately wrestle with him and make it, if it's going to be Night of Champions, make it a really good, old school, as we were talking about earlier, mat wrestling match. And that guy, unfortunately, and I know there's going to be some people out there that are going to roll their eyes when I say this, that guy, it has to be CM Punk.
Or
I agree. He had some great matches with CM Punk. Some great matches over a year ago. But I think John Cena has proven he can hang in with the mat wrestlers. He did with Punk a couple of years ago at Money in the Bank.
He debuted with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, his very first match was
against
with
Kurt Angle.
And for the love of God out there for John, those moves you did against Angle in that debut match, bring some of them back for us.
For the love of God, please, because you just quickly forgot about how you're supposed to wrestle in the ring.
And by the way, great use of the kill switch move at WrestleMania. Do you guys remember that? He
Yeah.
does his OVW finisher, the kill switch, and sit out powerbomb.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great usage of the move. It was unexpected.
Yeah.
It really caught me off guard. I was like, holy crap, kill switch.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. If you're going to bring Daniel Bryan back and put him with people that can actually mat wrestle on his level, you need
Which you got some guys coming from developmental.
yeah, you got some guys from developmental, but you can't put those guys at the top of the card right away.
No, you can't. You can't.
The only guy that you can transplant to the top level would be somebody who left at the top level, and that would be Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan, I think, would make a hell of a match.
Listen here, my message to Kurt Angle: if you want to be a part-time wrestler in WWE, it can happen. Just ask Chris Jericho. Just pick up the phone. You got Triple H on speed dial. Just tell the guy, listen, give me a Chris Jericho schedule, and I'll be there.
You set me up for what I've been wanting to say for a while. Kurt, for the love of God, I agree. I agree with this. If you want to be a part-time guy, that's fine. But in all honesty, for your own damn health, please retire before you end up in a wheelchair like the Dynamite Kid.
Thank you.
Kurt,
Thank
I
you.
loved watching you in '96 in the Olympics. You're a hell of a wrestler. You're a hell of a human being in what you stand for and the things you do for America and the things you do for the youth of this country. But for your own health, retire. I understand the reason why you are still wrestling is because you have to pay your child support to Jeff Jarrett. Which probably is going to get my ass kicked by Kurt if I ever meet him. But
You know
Kurt-
what? You know what?
Kurt-
Just don't use your shoot name.
no, I'm going to. I hope he hears me out there. Kurt, I'm saying this as a fan of yours for the longest time as a legitimate wrestling fan. I wrestled myself. the year after you actually won the gold medal, and I got into wrestling for a brief time because of watching you in the Olympics. But please, for your own health, Kurt, seriously consider retiring. You can make enough money doing other things, movies, things of that sort. Thank you for bringing up his name.
You could be in
Yes.
the Fast and the Furious.
It really, by in the WWE, you could do a lot of that, Kurt.
Yeah.
They have a film division. What
Yeah.
does TNA have? Nothing for you but another broken neck, maybe a broken bone.
And Hulk Hogan.
Exactly, and Hogan.
Let's not forget, Rob Van Dam did a movie.
Oh.
Could that be the big free agent signing that Disney Carter was talking about, re-signing Rob Van Dam?
Oh, please. If that is, shoot me now. He's another one. Retire, Rob.
No, Rob, 1998 called. They want their moves back. You need to go to developmental,
And they want
learn
their
some new
mullet
moves,
too.
cut your ponytail because you're going bald up top,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
come out with some brand new music. Here, I got one for you. Do 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 do. Rob Van Dam. Do 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 do. The whole darn show. Do 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 do. Rob Van Dam. How about come out to a ring, wear a suit, and just be preppy?
That, you know what that is? That's a knockoff of Paul Heyman. Just saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
You
if
can be classical.
if Rob is going to come back, Rob, please do this one for me, and my wife is going to groan when I say this. Use your original ECW entrance song, not Pantera Walk. I'm talking about Van Halen. Come out to Van Halen Pound Cake for one time.
I'm pretty sure Vince and them will make arrangements for it.
Nick, don't you have children waiting on you?
Yes, I got the.
Oh, screw
Speaking of
children.
child support,
No.
Anyways, let's move on to Sosie's segment of Fic Fails.
I'm going to be real quick tonight since time is short. The topic tonight is Mary Sue's. For those of you who don't know, a Mary Sue is a story where your favorite superstar, your John Cena's, your Randy Orton's, your Chris Jericho's, is paired up with a person. Just some made-up person. I
Thinly
hate...
veiled version of the author.
I hate Mary Sue's. They're usually just, like Al said, a thinly veiled version of the author. They're self-indulgent. These stories usually have no real plot, and it's just an excuse for someone to write a bunch of sex scenes featuring themselves and their favorite superstars. Please, unless you have a real storyline where real things happen with real consequences, not you and wrestler X falling in love and having 12 babies. If you don't have a real story, just stop, or don't put it online. Write it and put it in a notebook and read it.
Read it while you masturbate.
Yeah,
I was going to say exactly that.
Yeah.
Read it while you use your dildo on yourself.
Yeah, do not put this online. And
And clean up your mess when you're done.
Oh.
And if you must share your fantasy with the world, please label it as such and say, this is a Mary Sue, so I can skip over it, because I don't want to read that. If I'm going to go and read a story, I want it to have a plot. Now.
My Mary Sue is with my wife every night. But go ahead.
That's not fanfic, sweetie. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Fan nonfiction.
Yeah. And for our weekly shout out of a person who actually writes good fan fiction, today we're going to highlight FMS Fangirl. She hasn't written a story in a long time, but she has about 10 or so stories on her fanfiction.net page. They're all really well written, really well researched. A lot of them are period pieces. She has a lot of, it's all slash, obviously, because that's what I read mostly. There's a lot of Borden or RKO, whatever you like to call it, but her work is excellent. You can find her at fanfiction.net /2590606 FMS-Fangirl. Give her a read, give her some reviews. The stories are excellent. You won't be disappointed. All right, that's me.
Now, correct Now, for those of us who don't know what slash is, can you please explain the difference in what categories of fan fiction there are?
Oh goodness, you would
Just
ask me that.
just a quick.
General slash is homosexual fan fiction, 2 males. There is also fem slash, which is 2 females. Het is with, obviously, it's heterosexuals with a male and a female. That's about it. Then I just
Okay.
talked about the terrible, terrible Mary Sue's.
So it's real life 50 Shades of Grey then, or
Not-
fan fiction 50 Shades.
Not really.
Not always.
Not always, because there are. It's just like with regular stories. You have science fiction. You have romance. You have, you know, there. I have read stories that were.
I'm sure there's Kevin Smith fan fiction out
Yeah.
there.
I have read stories that were slash, that there was no sex involved.
Broken ball.
So,
Oh.
Anyway.
so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, if you want to go into, you can find what you want. There's also impreg, which I hate. That'll probably be on the upcoming thing. Impreg is when men can get pregnant in stories. Sometimes they get pregnant by females, sometimes they get pregnant by other males. It's terrible. They're always terrible. That's for another show. I think it's time to say goodnight, isn't it?
I just farted.
Ew.
Nice.
That's staying in.
Okay, and we're wrapping it up. So I am Big Al,
Sensational Soci.
and our guests today were William and Marjorie Crane.
You can call me Madam M.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it too.
And you can just call me,
Wild William.
no, Badass Billy C.
Nice.
Alright, this is Nick the Shotmaster McGee. So long.
That'll do it for this week. Have a good week and get out of my ring.